Sunday, actually, that question about the reflection is one I hope that you will find an answer to, Ashley, when at the end of class, I'm going to give out one example of how a student responded to those questions in a specific way, to give you an idea of what I'm looking for. And so you can understand the real purpose of reflection. Why think back? All right, so today, as you can see in front of you, you have some materials. First is a drawing I made. All right.
Good.
And I don't know. I mean, it's.
Can I trust it? You wrote on stuff. Can I trust
What?
you? It's really nice.
So this, I'm going to try to explain these
Are these
ideas.
the heads of people?
Yes.
Oh.
So if you have to ask questions like that, that's an indication of my need to further develop my artistic skills. Okay. So our objective today, our goal, is to understand the rhetorical appeals. Now, as you can see on the top, I have written rhetorical appeals. And I found this quote, this quotation. If you do not study rhetoric, you will become the victim of it.
The victim of persuasion.
Yes, the victim of persuasion. The world is full of people who want you to say yes to all kinds of different things. And they don't care, sometimes, whether your saying yes to something will be good for you or not. They just want you to say yes. Maybe because they want your support in an election.
Who wrote that?
I don't know. Somebody important.
Anonymous.
I think that the name is known.
I don't.
Maybe they want your support. Maybe they want your money. This is what people often want. And this is what people often use persuasion to achieve. Money. Okay. So the objective is just to understand what these are. The different techniques we can use. The different techniques you can use to get people, to get your audience to say yes to you. So, Aristotle thought to himself, here I am in Greece, and everybody has an equal voice, right? It's a democracy. And so suddenly it becomes very important, this art of persuasion. How do I get you to support me? Well, it's in a variety of ways. Okay? So notice I have divided the human being, and I want you to focus on the audience member. Now I have divided up the audience member into what?
Brain.
He's got a brain.
Heart.
All right, we all have a brain. All right, so that's one thing that the speaker can appeal to. The ability of our brain to work and to think things either make sense or don't make sense. If it makes sense what the speaker's saying, my brain agrees with it. And I might agree with the speaker. What else? What other parts are there to this audience member?
Logo.
They have a heart. Okay. So by the heart, what do I mean?
Emotion.
The emotions, yes. So if I don't really know how to make my speech make sense, maybe I can make it emotional. Maybe I can make the audience member feel sorry for me. Well, I think there are a lot of techniques we have to appeal to emotions.
Make them cry.
Well, yes, and we can cry. The speaker
Can cry.
can cry. And I just really hope that you guys will pay attention today because it's a really important class. And I'm having a hard time at home. And
That's irrelevant.
my dog is sick and
Stop. You're gonna...
so,
You have a dog.
as you can see,
Do you have a dog?
no, if the teacher,
Not anymore.
what are you implying?
What?
What are you implying,
You're
Keith?
sick though. No! I turned off the AC. It's blowing my face
Stop!
everywhere.
Please stop with the air conditioning.
That's I stopped.
Trying to teach.
I stopped it.
So as you can see, the speaker. All right, when you make your speech, don't forget how powerful emotional appeals can be. All right, targeting the heart is one of the most popular ways that companies and individuals use to get audiences to say yes.
The speaker, when they want to have sympathy, like want people to have sympathy.
When they want to create
Yeah.
sympathy in the audience,
Yeah, they will cry.
they might cry.
Yeah.
I remember seeing a video of a person who was part of a church, leader of a big church.
What kind of
And guess what?
You cried?
Well, people found out that he did something very, very wrong.
What?
Well, he betrayed his wife.
That's sad.
This was a true story. It happened in the United States. And guess what he did?
Cry.
He got in front of the church and he cried. I've sinned against God. Something like that.
And I hope he actually means
Well, I'll
it.
tell you what happened. The audience members believed he was sorry.
Oh,
And that's what he wanted.
was he sorry?
Some people think so. Some people think he's just a really good actor. It's up to you. And that brings me then to, we've talked about brain, we've talked about heart, and now we talk about, okay, so brain is logos, okay? And as you can see on the picture, we have, what is this?
Is that a graph?
It looks like a graph, all right? Something that appeals to the brain, right? When you see a graph, do you feel... Normally graphs don't have much emotional appeal to them.
Oh, it's
But
facts.
it's facts, that's right. Facts appeal to the brain. Now, the question is, do you, for instance, in the case of that preacher, was he sorry? Was he not sorry? That will depend on ethos.
Trust. Credibility.
Do I trust him?
Which part of body?
And that's not one that I was able to associate with a part of the body. As you can see, the audience member, how is the audience member deciding about the ethos of the speaker?
Should I trust him?
They have to think about it. And as you can see, here's the speaker in real life. And I thought it might be helpful for you to think about what we do. Is we have an idea of that person in our mind. Don't we? So that's why I've redrawn the man, the speaker, in the thoughts of the audience member, who will decide, okay, is this person someone I can trust? Should I believe him? Any questions about those? You're confused?
Kind of.
All right, well, why don't we think back, because you just wrote a report about Adora Spitak's speech. So, what was your view of her? Did you trust her?
Yes.
Yes.
All kids.
You trusted her.
We were all kids.
So you would say that she had a strong ethos. She was credible. She was trustworthy. Why?
Because she was talking about kids, and we technically are kids right now, so
Agree.
yeah.
Is that it? Is that all you have to do? Any kid could have gone up there and automatically has this strong ethos?
Probably.
That's about
Any
50%.
kids?
That's about 50%.
Is there something special about Adora?
50% of that is because she's a kid. And
50% is just because of her age?
No, it's because she's
probably helping.
What's the topic? She speak about kids.
Kids. She's talking about how.
She spoke about kids. She said kids are great.
Yes, 50%.
And she compared kids to adults. And she
She has
She-
made like main points. Her points connect to her real life.
all right, so because she was able to connect her examples, good.
Opinions.
Examples, by the way, you might make a note of this. Examples are usually thought of as appeals to reason. Examples. Examples can be powerful appeals to reason. Because it makes the audience, logos, yes, logos. It makes the audience able to understand. That's why we use examples. Examples are teaching tools and rhetorical tools. So she used examples, and you make the point that you're cold now. You're making the point that her examples connected to her real life, Christine, and that's what made you trust her.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fun.
I'm going to show some videos, all right, to make this even more clear.
Yay.
Now, one more thing is one that most teachers would not add, but I do. And that is this one. Mythos. Well, it has the word myth in it. All right, and a myth. It's a story.
Once
So-
upon a time.
So, there are certain stories speakers can use. And I've added symbols too. Did you notice that? Well-known stories and symbols.
So is this a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, it's another thing that can be used to persuade you. Now, persuasion can be used for good ends or bad ends, for good purposes or bad purposes. That's why we have to study it. Okay? Because if we aren't aware of these tricks, we can be manipulated into doing bad things. Okay? And we can be manipulated into trusting people who aren't really trustworthy. An example of mythos, I think, from Adora Spitak's speech could be this one. Anne Frank. You recognized that picture. She didn't tell the story, but you know that story.
Yeah.
All right? And that worked for her very well because Anne Frank is a child hero. So that's an example, I would say,
My dad's
of
been-
using a story to persuade. And I think her ability to do that all combined to make her into a speaker that you trusted. All right, I'm not going to really introduce these.
Okay,
I'm not going to really introduce these.
Why is it purple? Why is it purple?
smoking.
Why would she not? Why would she lose her die?
Oh,
Okay.
because of cancer.
Yeah. You
Oh.
smoke and you do.
That's
That
This
is
is sad.
persuasive because he cried. He's a good actor.
Okay,
I
so,
don't like it. It's
all right,
sad.
so, all right. Christine, which of the appeals would you point to as the appeal that was used by the creators of this commercial in order to persuade the audience?
Wait, what is the appeal?
These are the appeals. Ethos, pathos, logos, mythos are the appeals, okay, Christine? That's why they're all underneath this heading. So, of those, which do you think this commercial?
Yeah, pathos.
So you would say pathos.
Yeah, I think
Pathos or pathos, you can pronounce it either way. But why do you say that? I mean, you said that only. Say that again.
It was, I think that because that kid cried so that it can earn our
emotion.
yeah, sympathy. Yeah, sympathy.
Hits us right here in the heart, right? Just
Yeah.
like this speaker, his words, these are supposed to be his words, and they hit right to the heart.
Yeah.
In this case, we have an image of a child in a busy airport, maybe. And what has happened?
Lost her parents.
Lost his mom.
Why? We just smoked.
And then just
She
say
went
that-
outside to smoke.
And she died.
I think the idea is that she
Smoking.
smoking because it's an addiction. It becomes more important for her to smoke
Then look after her.
than to care about the emotional well-being of the child.
That's a really bad hair.
Yeah.
Okay, so she's a bad parent, and so what they've done is she's a bad parent. Why? Because she smoked. So if you're a smoker,
You are bad.
you're a bad parent,
I just think that humane.
and you cause what?
Emotional pain.
You cause this extreme emotional pain,
And you die. You can't.
and you die, and that is unfair to your child.
I think that the music because
Ah.
Yeah,
You must, and see, that is analysis. All of you who are so afraid of this word, Nicole, notice that Christine is just saying, look, yes, there's the child, there's the action of the mom walking away, there's the crying of the child,
But the mom
but
was
there
the
are
parent.
there is another element that we must consider when we seek to understand this commercial, and that's the music. Very important part of the commercial, right? That music is intended to do what?
Emotion. Like
Pathos.
yeah, all the words pathos.
I don't think that you can create a music that appeals.
No, I mean like a sad music.
Is there a logos music?
No.
It's just calm and like slow and like
Piano.
What about like really hard rock music?
Oh my god.
No, I'm just asking the question because this is very soft piano music and it naturally makes us. But there's other kinds of music that are very almost the opposite. And I wonder, what do you think that kind of music appeals to?
The weird. You wouldn't really trust advertisement.
I think it's still making an emotional appeal, but instead of making you feel sympathy, music can be used to make you feel
happy.
angry. Thank you very much,
And
Jessica.
color,
Yes,
like
that's
it's kind of
exactly
black
what
and
some
white.
music is designed to produce anger in you.
It's the funnest.
Toothpaste.
It's like having fuzzy slippers on your teeth, but the real word for it is plaque, and that news came straight from the dentist. His advice, switch to Colgate Total. When I saw a little pink in the sink, I thought, I'm just brushing too hard, no big deal. Then the dentist said a little bleeding is a sign of gingivitis, and to switch to Colgate Total.
Only Colgate Total has an antibacterial ingredient. It attaches to teeth to form a protective shield that's clinically proven to protect against a complete range of oral health problems for a full 12 hours. No other toothpaste can do that.
Wow.
Only Colgate Total reduces plaque by up to 98% and gingivitis by up to 88%.
Clean. Even right after lunch, the plaque didn't come back. My gums are healthy. healthier, stronger.
I recommend it because I saw results. Colgate Total has complete 12-hour protection. For a free product trial, visit colgatetotal.com/offer.
Everybody go buy Colgate.
Can we get
Complete
Colgate?
12-hour protection.
Colgate.
This is my doctor bleeding, by the way. Can I use that?
This was definitely
Now-
Ethos because he keeps going like my dentist said it. I don't know if
So in many cases, my friends, there will be multiple rhetorical appeals all being used together. And sometimes if they're used together in the right way, in very clever ways, the more they can combine them, the more powerful the persuasive message can be. So, what do you think about this commercial? Does it make you want to go out and buy a Colgate?
Yeah, have to. My doctor bleeding.
You have to. So, how is this trying to convince us? Using the picture. Look at the picture.
Ethos. Hours.
Let's talk about ethos first. In what sense does this rely on
The dentist.
credibility or the trustworthiness of a character? And Karina has pointed to the dentist. Now, they could have simply put up the numbers, right? 88%, 98%. That would just be logos.
But if you
But
have
it
like
seems.
a professional guy saying it,
Yeah.
you'd be like, oh, you
Yeah, maybe
study
because
this and know that.
Close.
Usually people would say 99%, but this one didn't say 99%. It said like something high, but not like perfect kind of. So it's more real.
Okay, there's probably a whole study and a lot of research that has been done about people don't trust 99%. 98% will trust that. Remember the other number? The other number was 88.
Yeah.
Alright, that's high enough.
Yeah.
Alright, but it's still like believable, I guess. And they research like which numbers are most
They keep repeating
effective.
things like
And they
12
did repeat.
hours protection.
Very, very good. That's right. Repetition.
Highlighted.
Highlight, use of graphics, highlighting, and as Anita just said, it's not enough for this commercial to just give you the numbers. Alright? Numbers appeal to the mind. But if we put those numbers in the mouth of a professional in the white coat, alright, who's very clean cut and professional looking, and he says 98%, up to 88%. Well, do we trust him?
Yes.
Light bulbs in your house were invented by Thomas Edison in 1879. Now think about that with your
That's like the
2054.
American Companionship.
You still do the wash down with the creek while your eldest son stands lookout for wolves? No, you don't. This is a Cree LED bulb. It lasts 25 times longer. Nostalgia is dumb.
Just looking at your sheet now, which appeals do you think are used? Only a 30-second commercial there. And
You know he's
Funny.
advertising.
you don't know what he's selling. Okay. Anyone know what he's selling?
bulb.
Light bulb.
The light bulb. And how is he selling this new light bulb?
Compared to Thomas Jefferson's light bulb.
I don't know. I don't think it's Thomas Jefferson.
Oh, it's
President.
All right. So he starts. Listen, if he's talking about Thomas Edison, Andrew, I want you to think of the 4 appeals. Which do you think that most directly relates to?
Mythos.
Ethos.
What?
I can understand why, but some students have said mythos, Andrew, and can you understand why they would say mythos?
Because it was a story of Thomas Edison.
Right, Thomas Edison is kind of, he's probably the most famous inventor.
Not really. Einstein.
No, he's
Einstein wasn't an inventor
Yeah, I forgot.
of practical tools and things that we use in our homes still.
Einstein discovered Einsteinium.
Actually, that's not true, but okay. Anyway,
What time is
It's an element in the periodic table.
okay. So Thomas Edison, there's a story, there's a whole myth about Thomas Edison as this great inventor.
Yeah.
But what's the problem?
His light bulbs don't last long.
Okay. What are the problems? What's the other problem?
I'm gonna say
It's too old.
It's old.
old school.
Thomas Edison invented the light light bulb in 1879.
That early?
We are moving on. Are there any questions about the visualization? All right, now put the screen up. I'd love to show more videos, but I'm going to give you a chance to watch one on your own. That'll be for homework. Don't forget the homework sheet. This.
Wait, I didn't get a homework sheet.
It's up here. Make sure you take it before you leave. This is a visualization. All right. Notice it has the word visual. I say, okay. So I've taken ideas and I've tried to make it possible for you to see how they work. That's why I made this drawing.
How long did it take you to make?
Not long. And are there any questions about this?
Nicely drawn.
Are you sure? Well, that's fine. We'll be talking about this, and if any questions come up, yes.
Did you take a picture of it and print it out?
Yeah.
And then you drew it
Alright.
one by one.
What do you mean?
Paper. Like one by one.
You can tell.
Do you think I drew 17?
There's a board at the bottom. There's a
Because
board.
you see if you see the circle.
I am passing out what are called rhetorical appeals cards. What you will do is you will decide which rhetorical appeal you want one of your classmates to use, who they will be talking to, and what they want.
I don't
So, for example, I will fill out a card as well, and maybe I will say, okay, rhetorical appeal, alright, I want mine to be logos. Alright? Then, I'm going to say, right here, I'm going to say classmate. Alright? And then maybe here, for the desire, I'm going to say borrow an eraser.
What?
Logo. Wait,
No.
logos?
No, everyone will fill out a card on their own, then they will go into the hat.
Oh,
I will go first, I will pick out of the hat, I will go, oh no. And then I will attempt to make my appeal.
Oh.
What if somebody gives you a heart one and you chose the heart one?
You try your best. But listen, the example I just gave, I won't actually do that. But this is what I do encourage. I encourage you to be creative. The more unusual the more unusual the task, I think the more memorable it will be for you. Alright, so here are the rhetorical appeals. Try not to use, really what I'd rather you choose are the easier ones, okay? Pathos and logos are the easier ones, okay? So I think we should, you can only choose either pathos and logos for the rhetorical appeal so far. Maybe we'll do this again. But for this first time, either pathos or logos, okay? Now, and then of course students can just make up facts.
Make up facts.
So, audience, you can choose your parent, classmate, brother, sister, maintenance man, probably not an animal. And then anything that can be desired.
What?
Okay?
Like just ask a question or something.
Anything that can be desired. You want something, and you want the audience member to say yes.
Oh.
And you're going to use a certain
Yes.
rhetorical
I just made
appeal.
up an idea.
Yes, like do we write like that? I don't know.
A car could be something you desire.
Oh my god. I'm gonna make my handwriting. No, my handwriting. It's possible to take that one or take that one.
This is
Try to
gonna
keep it secret from people around you.
Mr. Everett, for the audience, does it only have to be classmates?
No, it can be parents, it can be police, it
Wait,
can
I still don't get it for audience.
I don't really get
be the person you're speaking to. So, who is this? You decide who the person has to speak to, and that will affect how they speak. It could be a boss.
Do you write your name?
You don't put your name in.
Yeah, with a knife.
I don't have
We'll continue.
This is gonna be hard.
I'm done.
I didn't love
Emperor, what if you picked the
Let me think again.
Yeah, that's good.
This is the other aspect.
That's so good.
Now, when you are noticing that someone is using your card, after they're done, you can't respond because I want you to identify what the audience, and I want you to identify which rhetorical appeal they use. I know that might be
I don't mean this, okay?
Doesn't matter. You're allowed to be creative. All right. So again, I have to go first because I have to. All right. I have to be an example to show you. You know this. Hey. All right. Everybody take their seats. Yes. Each of the question.
Do we get how long do we get to prepare?
It's kind of got to be quick. We won't get through this today, unfortunately.
Good.
But you will maybe see me humiliate myself. Okay, are we ready? You have to understand, what you've just done with the rhetorical appeals cards is you've given little assignments. Alright, and the assignments have a specific purpose. Showing your understanding logos, pathos, and how to use those. Use language to get what you want. Drum roll, everyone.
Not mine.
We are childish, man.
Thank you. Thanks for everybody. I know everybody's doing different things around the house. I know Jimmy. I know your favorite show's on. I'm sorry to drag you away from that. I wanted to call a family meeting.
What's Jimmy?
I wanted to call a family meeting because I've been seeing some things. Okay. Lately, as you know, I lost my license, and I'm very thankful that you're all driving me around. Driving me to work and driving me back from work, Dad. I really appreciate that. What? Really appreciate it. And I love you, Dad. And love really is my message. Okay? More than anything that I'll say in this meeting, love is really behind all my words. They come from love. Alright, so this is what I'm asking you for. This is what I'm asking you for. Christine, could you please? Can everybody just kind of pay attention?
It's hard.
Mom, can you turn off the TV?
Yes,
it is.
Here, just listen to me for 1 minute. I'm noticing, and I'm riding with you, and I appreciate that you're giving me rides and helping me, but I've noticed that as you're driving, you'll get a phone call on your cell phone, and you're driving, and you answer the phone and start talking on the phone while you're driving the car, while I'm in the car. And yeah, I'm afraid for my own safety, but I'm afraid for your safety too. We've seen the commercials. We know how distracting it can be when you're having a conversation on a telephone while you're driving. It's not safe. I love you. All right? I want us all to be together for as long as possible. And so I'm asking you, please, from the bottom of my heart, stop talking on the phone while you drive, okay? Thank you.
fine. Gosh.
All right, I'm done. So, who was the audience?
Your parents.
Family.
It was family.
And Jimmy.
The person who wrote this shouldn't be speaking. Keith, did you write this?
No.
And what rhetorical appeal do you think I used?
Ethos.
Ethos.
Ethos wasn't a.
No, I meant pathos.
How did you get the idea that I was doing a
Because he did the piano.
You are saying I love shiny.
Alright, I pulled the love card. Right. I said I used and appealed to their emotion, my concern for them, in the attempt to convince them to
Stop driving.
Well,
Stop
Stop the phone when you're driving.
Stop driving when you're listening to the phone.